All right, that should work. Are you hearing me on the Discord?
Yes, I hear you.
No, we don't hear you. I can't hear you over K's STD.
It's very loud. Her STD is very noisy.
Okay, so I need to turn the volume down.
I recommend us not making KSTD jokes because then she'll just never speak.
K's STD is funny.
How's that sound-wise?
That's
This isn't quite working right. Yeah, we'll just go with this and deal with the... You guys aren't getting any echo, are you?
No.
Yeah, so it's all on my end. Well, I'll have to sort it out later. Any rate.
This live stream is fucking gay, dude.
Thank you for your assessment. Let's see.
Just like Nefarious himself.
Awesome. That is the kind of intellectual discourse we love around here. Any rate, welcome to Eldritch Rants, number 6, the Meme Army Psychological Hospital edition, where if the World War meme is taking its toll on your mind, feel free to return to M.A.S.H Unit 1488, where stream is now available. Stop on by and let the Dr. God work his Meatball Psychology to patch you up and get you back on the front lines ASAP. Any rate, we're chatting here with the gentleman from Formal Fellows, the Formal Talk Discord, where everybody is incredibly formal and occasionally degenerates into fart jokes and calling everybody gay. How's everybody doing tonight?
You're fucking gay.
That's the way it is, and that's how I roll. I'm gay as a Mexican hat band.
You are homosexual.
Watch me care. Any rate, anybody else want to introduce themselves?
I'm watching.
You are a bundle of sticks used to burn people alive.
Awesome. Any rate, usually I just rant about the crap that's happened for the past week. Let's see. Big thing this week that came and went was Milo Yiannopoulos being declared the pedophile, which has actually moved on to Sargon of Akkad being declared the pedophile by some bullshit that was made up and put on the internet. It was totally faked in like 5 minutes. So we can clearly see that mainstream media is having a field day with its latest insult to call everybody.
That's not the controversy.
I'm sorry, what?
Milo isn't a pedophile.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%.
Sargon wasn't a controversy because he liked pineapple pizza.
But potassium's a pedophile.
Potassium, I believe you can't eat bananas,
So
right?
what if I like children? No, I cannot eat
The
bananas.
irony.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. I like that.
Any rate,
There we go.
in regards to Milo, it clearly was all just BS. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Everything they dragged up was completely manufactured. And...
Well,
I mean, you can't really call him a pedophile. I mean, he expressed some desires, whatever. But nothing he did was actually law-breaking.
No, he didn't express any desires. He said gay people should, like, young, older, like, mentor them in a way.
I'm referring to the part where he said he actually had feelings for his abuser. Which is pretty screwed up, but actually pretty typical.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carry on.
The problem is that when you're, that young, you sometimes internalize the abuse and say, I was the aggressor. I was the one who initiated it. Well, let's face
Which
facts.
he did.
Well, that may have been the case, but if you're 13 years old, you can't. Okay, any adult nearby should go.
Noticed himself, yes. He accused himself.
So, but how he expresses his own internal pain shouldn't be any like. They turned it into a legal issue, and it seems to me the whole reason he resigned was just because he didn't want to have his problems drag down his job. I did like the video that they did where they interviewed people at CPAP and they couldn't find a single person who said, yeah, Milo, there's something wrong with him. No, they all said, no, it's all bullshit. That pretty much sums it up for me. The guy's got some issues. He probably needs some help, but we should pity him at worst. And at best, we should be helping him, not fry the guy. But they don't care about that.
Yeah, only the furthering of their cause.
Yeah, the Eldritch God, I completely agree with you. Yeah, he's definitely not a pedophile. He has some problems.
And
Protest, you willing to talk, you are a pedophile.
And oh yes, I keep children in my basement. And then I send them out into the street as I watch over them, and they collect money from people passing by.
wasn't that like Oliver Twist?
I have no clue.
Are you Fagin? You're Fagin, aren't you? The Artful Dodgers locked up in your basement. That's pretty twisted.
So it's not that bad.
Anyway, it's pretty much an ongoing thing. I actually blew my mind when I saw that Sargon got his Twitter account shut down because somebody faked a whole thing about he was requesting child porn. I mean, of all the flimsy evidence, it was a screenshot of a DM. It's like,
Well, someone can easily just Photoshop that.
oh yeah, they had somebody who did it in like 5 minutes. They made the exact same DM right down to the pictures.
Like when they had video proof of it, it was just like, and then he had the screenshot of it, and then it's like he went to it, and then he went to a different page. Like he had the DMs, and then it's like, I'm gonna prove this is the real account.
Give me
And then he went to a different page.
Big ass centipede on my floor. I'm gonna fucking kill the shit out of it.
Eldritch, I left a little message on your live chat thing.
Oh,
Die,
okay. I'm
bitch.
sorry, I haven't been watching it. Worst broadcast. Awesome. We strive to hit bottom. You know, if you can't be at the top, at least enjoy the gutter. Anyway, my whole point of this is I don't think this is going to stop here. Although, ironically, I think this may come back to bite mainstream media in the ass. Because, let's face facts, for a long time there's been a lot of rumors about a whole pedophile ring being all over Hollywood and that sort of thing. I really can't imagine they really want to get everybody wound up hunting for pedophiles if there actually is any sort of like pedophile organization in California. Which, by the way, I believe they did recently arrest over, 470 odd pedophiles in a massive bust in California a couple of weeks ago. I mean,
because they heard Club Penguin shutting down.
Oh yeah, I heard of something about that.
Eldritch God, yeah, you have an echo in your microphone, so I'm hearing two of you in the stream. Like even if I turn down Discord all the way.
Oh really?
Yes, there's two of you.
Eldritch, make me mod on your stream.
How about this? Is this working now? Am I duplicating now?
Make me mod on your stream.
I have no idea how to make mod on a stream anyway.
Oh, you don't know how?
No, I that's why I go through Discord. I don't understand any of this crap.
Oh, I can teach you.
Oh, that'd be interesting sometime. Learn something new every day. Anyway, is the echo gone on the actual video feed now?
Okay, yes, Eldritch God is working.
Awesome. All right, let's go with this from now on because I was getting an echo on my end and I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, where were we?
Something about pedophiles and a bus.
Oh yeah, some about pedophiles. I'm
Sounds like a
thinking
good
that at
match.
this point see, I haven't seen more of it. I haven't seen them start to lashing out at random. When they did that with Nazi, it was a full-on, full-court press. Everybody's a Nazi. It was the new buzzword to label everybody. Now they've trotted out pedophile, but I'm not seeing that full-court press. So I'm
Well, you
wondering
forgot
if,
about
like,
racist.
I'm wondering if this
What about
is
racist?
this
People are
isn't going-
still calling Trump supporters and stuff like that neo-Nazis.
Yeah, the irony is that I actually knew neo-Nazis when I was in Buffalo, and those guys would frickin' kick everybody's ass. They weren't real Nazis. They were a cult. There's no other way to describe them. They're a cult. They just use Nazi themes to make people tattoo their bodies with weird shit, repel their family and friends so that they're stuck with the gang, and then they don't have to worry about these people like turning on them. Because, well, when you put a swastika on your forehead, it's really hard to mainstream back into normal society.
I'm gonna get a big ass banana right on my ass.
Interesting. But at any rate, like the real
Then I'll
pedophiles,
become a neo-Nazi.
the real neo-Nazis, they're all drug dealers. They're all criminals, every last one of them, and vicious. That one video where they have that guy where they go, "Are you a Nazi?" And he goes, "I'm not a Nazi. Do you like black people?" He says, "Yeah, why not?" And then he gets punched in the face. If he was actually a neo-Nazi, they would have killed him by nightfall. Because when you're a neo-Nazi, you don't say, "I'm not a Nazi." You turn your back on the gang, they cut your throat. The only way I managed to get one person out of that gang was I had to pay for it. You know, I had to buy the contract. It's pretty messy. And this was 20 years ago. I don't even know what's going on now. Okay. But the fact of the matter is running around labeling people neo-Nazis, you know what you do? All you do when you start slapping that label on people is you weaken the label for real neo-Nazis. And trust me, all these people say, it's okay to punch a Nazi. In fact, that's something to just on that forum I was on earlier today. It's okay to punch a Nazi. Really? Let me assure you, Nazis are used to not having the social contract protect them. You want to forego the rules of society and you want to deal with these people in the wild? They'll eat you alive. But anyway, you were trying to say something? Did I talk over you?
Who?
Oh, I thought somebody was trying to talk and I talked over him. My apologies. That's pretty much what... I'm sorry.
Wait,
what?
Eldritch.
Yo. Am I still gay?
No.
Okay.
But there's a new message on your podcast, and this one's actually important.
This one's actually important.
It's the one above the new one.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sure. Add moderator. There you go.
Hey, that's big.
Yeah. All right. There we go. And maybe if I move this over here and shrink this down, I could actually watch what I'm doing. Hey, there you go. I can actually see the chat now. Awesome. At any rate, this week, otherwise, that seems to be the big thing that's happened. Unfortunately, everything big seems to happen on Sunday and Monday, and then by the time Friday comes along, it's all over.
Oh,
Nobody wants to have any big scandals on the weekend.
Thing with Donald Trump.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was with Donald? Oh, the banning?
The transgender bathroom thing Obama was going to have in place. He canceled it, basically.
Yeah, I heard about that. For me, that seems...
I'm not against it, but, like, you want to give 3% of the people, like, I don't know.
I really couldn't care less.
Yeah. It's only 3% of the population that's trans.
I deal with people who are mentally and physically disabled. So on some regards, I do have sympathies when it comes to a very small percentage of the population needing special accommodation. But let's be honest here. You don't need special accommodation. All right? They don't. There's no, your legs are broken. You can't walk. You need somebody to help you sit on the toilet. All right, you don't need an extra wide stall. You don't need a special trans stall. I'm sorry, but you're not that special. And that is a big problem I have, is trying to make everybody special, separate everybody in their own little box. You don't want to be in your little box. Trust me, being in a box sucks. Being like everybody else is great. I mean, I understand. Normies. But normies are, in my opinion, aren't what most people are. Normies are people who are so set in their ways, so structured that there is no chance for change. There's a lot of people like that. People who are just like so, they're calcified is a better word for it. That's what I think a normie is. It's somebody who's calcified, who cannot change. Most people I meet are actually pretty open to like weirdness and people being different. People are pretty open-minded. There's no need to really open up these minds anymore, in my opinion. People are pretty tolerant. Let's not make people bend over backwards trying to make you special because you're not. But the other thing that Trump did that I actually applaud, but he's going to catch a lot of hell for, is that he kicked out various news outlets from his White House meetings. I believe.
White House, let's go.
And the big outcry that, and I was watching over on Zargon's stream with, God, what was his name? V. I'm like, I wanted to slap him. He's like, banning reporters from the meetings is kind of like in World War I when they made it illegal to talk out against, the United States.
It's nothing like World War I.
Well, what the hell are you talking about? Oh yeah,
they're trying to cause such a big calamity over nothing.
Here's my opinion. Have we stopped anybody's free speech? No. Have we stopped the reporters from receiving the information? They can watch through the camera like the rest of us.
I'm just going to interrupt you here.
Okay.
Just for 1 second. It's pretty funny. It's like the news are the one that's making the news now. It's not the other way around.
Oh, well, I mean, you have an excellent point. They're dying. And there's this great big push to create news. And they don't realize that the news, trying to make themselves the news, for lack of a better news cycle, is actually turning people away. I have this imagination where I see like CNN suddenly just reporting the facts, no adjectives, no adverbs, no opinions, just saying the truth, and that they might actually start gaining viewers again. Crazy, I know. But if I knew I could...
a decent amount of people want the truth. A lot of people, as that great line in the movie, can't handle the truth. As we were talking before, a great number of people, in my opinion, are being kept children. They grow up as children at home. They go to school. They continue to be like children. They're taught if you throw a temper tantrum, we'll bend over backwards to give you what you want. Then they get to college where they think, I'm spending money, I deserve a degree. No, you don't. If you spend money and you fail every course, you don't deserve a degree.
I deserve respect. No, you don't deserve respect.
Nobody gets given respect.
Earned.
This is what I was going to say about this earlier when we were talking about this. I was like, wait, I forgot. But it just came back to me. It seems like a lot of those people are the ones that actually have some sort of mental disorder or, a little bit retarded. Yes.
It's a rude word to say, but it's pretty accurate. But actually, I think in the actual original way the word was intended, which is not developed for retarded.
Okay, well,
I think that is appropriate.
This was the first time I've used the word retarded in a long time. But yes, I don't know why I chose that word, but
because it's technically accurate. By the way, as a side note, I want to mention something since I like to rant here. Last year at my job, when they put us through diversity training, they gave us a list of banned words. Guess what word stood out to me last year? It had 3 letters and started with an O.
No.
Nope. Out. We were no longer allowed to use the word O-U-T, out. And when I asked why, they said, somebody might think you're trying to out them from the closet. We were not allowed to use the word outing. We were not allowed to say we're going out. We're not allowed to say this is out of the box. We have to use the term outside. The use of the word out was banned by New York State. And strangely enough, when I tried to keep the list of banned words, they wouldn't let me keep the paperwork. We were just supposed to memorize it and eat it, apparently. But that's how corrupt New York State has become, overwhelmed with social justice. That there's lists of banned words if you work there, and they damn well know that what they're doing is total bullshit, so they can't let you actually have a copy of anything to prove it to anyone. So yes, this is anecdotal, but let me assure you, in 2016, the word out was banned if you worked with the mentally and physically disabled. I don't understand it, because most of our clients couldn't even talk, but there you go.
I was watching this video of this professor that was at this university, I forget which one, but he was getting in a lot of shit for disagreeing with a lot of these SJWs and feminists and stuff like that, because of all these, because they wanted to be called a certain thing, and they were getting mad because the teacher would not call them the certain word that they wanted to be called or whatever.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking
Pronouns.
about. I think he lost his job.
Yeah, or whatever.
Because he wouldn't use the pronouns zim, z, zer, or some other shit.
Yes.
And
Jordan
this is
Peterson.
only proving the point that we kind of treat kids like they're children, and we don't let them grow up, and we don't let them get hurt when we should.
Wait, Jordan Peterson got fired? Oh
It was
shit.
so fucking bad. I was watching one of the videos where a whole crowd of these SJWs, feminists, and don't want to be stereotypical, a lot of them were emo. Like, the majority of them.
Oh yeah, it was
Or
so
emo.
humiliating to watch.
Or
Well,
hipsters.
aren't most of them overweight?
Overweight hipsters or emos, yes.
There's nothing sadder than an overweight goth.
It is the social outcasts who are these SJWs, feminists.
They're preaching like women's rights. They want to fight for women's rights. Like the suffragists starved to death. Well, they're starved for their cause. They won't.
What boggles me is these people want to be social outcasts. You're talking to somebody who got the crap beat out of them from 10 years. Okay, I was never popular in school. I got the shit beat out of me constantly. I got beaten into a coma at the end there. And I'll tell you what, I would have done anything to be normal. Okay, I would have been anything to have, just been ignored. Just to be, not to even stand out. But now, everybody's got to stand out. And oddly enough, it's gotten to the point where if you don't want to stand out, you're the freak. Like, it's been completely reversed around. I don't understand that part.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just the same mechanic. It's just everything that's the definitions have all changed.
I've never been bullied at school. I guess I'm one of the lucky ones, but when I was younger, I was bullied for how I spoke, because I did have a pretty bad stuttering problem. But I still do stutter, just not as bad.
Eldritch.
Yo.
I moved everybody down to formal podcast, so on the live stream you might want to scroll down a bit because it shows the lounge, but no one's in it. So
All right. There we go. Is that fixed? Yeah, it looks like it's fixed.
it hasn't showed up. Oh, okay. Yeah, now it's fixed.
Okay. Which actually brings me over to a little rant. I was actually thinking of making just a flat video about it, but you know what? It's been pretty eye-opening for me. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Discipline Discordia, Goddess Eris, all that bullshit from back in 1970s or 1996 something. In a lot of ways, it mirrors the origin of the whole Kek religion, a mockery sort of thing. Except that they were focused much more on internal improvement, morality, that sort of thing. Oh, I need to fix this.
Yeah, now it's bad. I was just going to say that.
Okay, maybe let's go back over to OBS.
Eldritch, the thing is kind of like down. Yeah, you got it's a little bad.
I'll give it a few seconds and it should catch up. At any rate, there's usually like a 5-10 second delay. At any rate, I used to hang out. They came out with a whole new book in 2006 called The Black Iron Prison. It was pretty good philosophy book. I mean, I wouldn't say base your life off of it, but it had some very good ideas about how a lot of things in life are subjective. There is an objective reality, whether, everybody knows there's a table in front of you. We can all touch it, we can all hit it, but there's a certain amount of everything which does depend upon your perception. It was very thoughtful, and the group that was hanging out there, they were very intellectual. They're a lot like this place. I'm hanging out here, and I've screwed it up. Okay, let's go fix that.
Yeah, we're not
down.
Intellectual like.
Oh, you guys are. You like to, as I put it to them. Basically, there's a lot of shit posting, pictures of dick girls, all sorts of weirdness, and then everything devolves down to like discussing the political issues, arguments about like economic policy, and then somebody farts into their microphone.
Yeah, pretty much. I only actually have one real life friend that I can sit down and have like actual serious conversations. No, I don't even have serious conversations with him. We have to say, all jokes aside, for us to actually take each other seriously, because we don't know.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that part. Joking around with people is a very important part of socialization. And sometimes you do need to sit down and say, look, we're just going to be serious and try and do that sort of stuff. But in my opinion, and as I expressed to them, that the whole offensiveness attitude, the anti-Semitism, gay jokes, whatever, even though when that was all going on, you'd be like, hey, why are you guys making gay jokes and like about Milo? He's a gay Jew. And then like people were saying, yeah, but I'm Jewish. Yeah, but I'm gay. They don't take seriously. None of the people who are in the Kek religion, they're saying the offensive things to be offensive, to scare off people so that you can sit down to the business of actually discussing things. I termed it the briar patch. You want to come and mess with us? Come into our briar patch. It stings like hell. And most people don't survive here. But if you can make it here, you get scratched up skin. But in the long run, you get tougher for it. Strong arguments build for stronger character. But when I went over there, because I haven't been there in like a year, I got into their forums and I said, hey, by the way, the whole origin story of Eris? Well, there's some parallels to Kek, and I was wondering if you guys thought the same way. I got 3 pages of people telling me to kill myself. They wanted to punch me. Then one guy, why punch him when we can shoot him? You should be banned. This should be like erased. Yeah, we should delete this thread. And it was just, I waited a couple of days because I was curious. I gave all of them time to review it, and it was like not one positive thing. And then I jumped out and I said, you realize that you've threatened my life. You've made all sorts of assumptions about me. You basically called me a racist, Nazi, homophobic, all this other bullshit. But none of one of you has a shred of proof, anything about me. Oh, and you called for censorship. Your entire frickin' religion is about freedom of ideas. Oh my God, there's now another 12 pages of bullshit after that. Especially after I told one of them, I'll answer your questions after you apologize for threatening my life. I'm pretty sure by the next time I go back there, I'm going to be banned. But in my opinion, what happened there, because I remember what it was like a couple of years ago, and how they're acting now, it's social justice. It's moved in, and it corrupted an organization that was designed specifically to say, fuck, organization. Their enemy is order itself. So in many ways,
anarchy.
Well, no, in my opinion, the whole offensiveness of Kekness, where all of these bullshit memes are tossed around and people are going, oh, wow, that's so offensive. We're not making jokes of Jews. We're making jokes about racists. Okay? Because if you don't find the anti-Semitism offensive, the joke isn't funny. That's basically the whole point of everything PewDiePie did. If you don't find anti-Semitism funny, offensive, you don't find death to all Jews to be hysterical. But it seems to be this belief that I want to look at what your message is, and I don't want to think about it. I just want to take the way I perceive it and use it to further my ideological beliefs. It's The whole thing with Milo. Nothing he said actually had anything really to do with pedophilia to begin with. He was, I forget what it is, but pedophilia is only before puberty. So I forget what the actual term is, but...
Hold on. I'll look it up.
Oh, thanks. But the point of it is the inaccuracy use of terms, going straight for the emotional jugular, the lack of research. Like, I love that one guy who was blasting PewDiePie. Somebody, and I love this term, weaponized autism, went through thousands of his tweets. I think he had like 20,000 tweets.
It's hebephilia. It's hebephilia.
Yeah, hebephilia.
Not pedophilia.
But somebody went through 20,000 of this reporter's tweets and found his off-colored Nazi jokes, his jokes that were insults to Jews and niggers. I mean, it's like, wow. You blast somebody over their off-color jokes, and there it is in your own history. And we would probably dig up something on the other two reporters if they didn't close down their Twitter accounts.
I'll give you another example. That silly person, Tana Mongu, or whatever her name was.
Say nigger.
Yeah,
Say nigger.
Yeah, pretty much. And she was such a hypocrite because she said it, but in worse context than iDubbbz. At least iDubbbz was saying as a joke. She was actually calling a black person a dirty monkey, pretty much.
In those
that's
cases, the
what they
words are
are.
actually meant to hurt people's feelings.
Yeah.
When used in the context of actual comedians, usually the terms are used because people know they're wrong. Like, I actually did a video a little while ago, which is a series of Nazi jokes, but if you actually listen to it, it increasingly gets dark and bizarre to the point where the person who's telling the joke basically goes completely unhinged about the fact that he's murdering people. That's the joke. That Nazism is actually horrifying. And if you don't accept that, it's not funny. In my opinion, you want to know what indicates somebody's a racist? It's if they care about what race you are, or what race there are, or any sort of race. Actually, looking at The Amazing Atheist, normally I don't agree with 90% of what he said, but he did have a good point when I was looking for material earlier in the week, which is, I don't care that I'm white. I don't take any pride in being white, and I don't expect to feel any guilt for being white either. I want you to judge me for me, not for the actions of anybody else. If the only pride you have is in the color of your melanin and the accomplishments of somebody else with the same tone of skin, then you're sad. And that's pretty much a good way to look at it. Or if in some ways, Black Month, what is it? National Black History Month, I believe is this month.
Black History Month.
Black History Month. That's the one. It's February.
Black Month.
Black Month. I don't know what to call it. But, when I mentioned it to somebody, you know what they said? Yeah, of course, they gave us the shortest month of the year. It's like, wow. Wow, I don't know if there's a white month. But then again, white people don't want it because it holds you back. It doesn't allow you to go forth as an individual. Yes, if you think collectively, you get to gang up on everybody else. But you as an individual suffer if the only way you get ahead is because you're going along with the crowd. I guess that's the whole point of the whole thing.
My favorite white History Month is Andrew Jackson. He's my favorite person of White History Month.
Yeah, but do you take personal pride in what he's accomplished? Or do you just admire him? Do you say, I'm a great person because of Andrew Jackson?
I mean, he did survive 130 duels, so that is quite a feat.
Do you admire him?
You can't.
Or do you say...
I admire him for surviving 130 duels, but he did horrible things as a president.
Oh, yeah. We've had some... If you look at most presidents, they're pretty horrible. God... That was one thing that always bothered me. Obama's the worst president ever. And I'm like, yeah, he's kind of done some bad things, but what about that guy who raped a 14-year-old on the couch in the White House? That guy, the guy who admitted in his autobiography, I never should have been elected president. I mean, I was like 18-something. He was like responsible for causing the Civil War. Like, he was a horrible, horrible person and a horrible president and plunged us into a war that
The
killed
only president
millions
that
of Americans.
caused the Civil War was Abraham Lincoln.
No,
So you're saying Abraham Lincoln's a horrible
no, that wasn't him. It was the guy who set up the events. What was it? The Compromise?
The Compromise of 1850.
Yeah, I think that might have been the guy. The problem is, I've got this big book that's called Who's Who in Hell. It's got a list of people who are in hell, at least that they were horrible people and should be there. And it's got some very interesting people. Most of the presidents are in there. I like to read it every once in a while. But I wish I brought it with me to work today.
Is Bush in?
No, it's got to be people who are dead. Although they did make an exception for Henry Kissinger, the butcher of Cambodia, when he accepted the Nobel Peace Prize, they said his soul went straight to hell at that moment. So I kind of agree with them. In many ways, maybe Obama should as well, because he's accepted the Nobel Peace Prize and it is assassinated more presidents than any other president in history. He personally signs off on all those drone strikes.
So, yeah, like, well, what did President Obama really do other than that? Or what did he really do?
I will say this for him. I think when he started out, he actually had the best of intentions. Yeah. And his first 2 years, if you look at it, he was getting total pushback both from the Republicans and his own party and the Democrats. And I really truly believe that the Democrats treated him as that fucking nigger who made it as president. I think that was their opinion of him. They hated him. They wanted Hillary, and they fucked with him. No question about it. But after the midterm elections, 2010, when they got their asses handed to them, they suddenly said to themselves, hey, maybe we should actually work with the nigger. And that is when all things changed. Like Obama's policies and everything that he was doing, his attitude, his speeches. 2010, right after the midterm elections, he became an entirely different person. And that's when I think I hate to use the term, sold out. That's when he decided to work with the system and not against it.
With big business.
Yeah, and that's where he started making all of these crazy decisions. And actually, there was a Russian guy who I was talking to earlier. I asked him to stop by, but it doesn't look like he's going to. We were talking about the perspective from Russia as to what America's done. And some of the stuff I already knew, but some of it I didn't. I mean, we broke the 1987 treaty that ended the Cold War first. We went to Russia. It was Hillary. She went there. Remember her button? I don't know if you guys remember this. The reset button that was misspelled. She went to Russia to press the reset button that she had made specifically for, that encounter, to reset relationships with Russia. Ignoring the fact that before, Hillary got involved, the relationships with Russia were pretty good. But afterwards, we did the reset. And basically they said, Hillary came by to Russia to shake down Putin. That she was saying, you're going to start feeding money into the Clinton Global Initiative slush fund. And when Putin didn't...
Along with Saudi Arabia.
Well, those guys totally were just feeding him, but Putin wouldn't. And suddenly, Russia started getting sanctions and all sorts of pushback bullshit.
Yeah,
and NATO was doing some pretty slimy shit.
7% invested into the American economy.
Yeah. And after listening to him, I'm like, you know what? What's going on in the Ukraine and Crimea? There has to have been a better way to work it out. But I can kind of understand your point of view, because he's basically saying, you guys keep pushing us. You guys keep tightening the screws. No wonder, that's why we love Putin, because he is standing up against you. And I can't entirely say that it's all propaganda, judging from the stuff that I've been hearing. Although I did have, this is how I think, jumping around like this, the conversation did go around to, how did we get to this point? Somebody was saying, how did we get Trump elected? And I said, well, it's quite simple. Been a migrant crisis.
Thank God for that.
Amen. Imagine that Muammar Gaddafi had not been killed. There was no flood of immigrants. Brexit wouldn't have happened. And with no Brexit, if you look at the polls, that was a huge turnaround for Trump. That gave him moral high ground. That gave him a moral wind to his back that helped push him ahead.
He's never had the moral high ground.
Well, I'm not sure what term to use.
Moral high ground.
It gave him. I'm not sure what term to use, but it gave him some. It helped him a lot.
The advantage.
It gave him an advantage. That's the word I'm looking for. And let's face facts. This election was really tight. On the Electoral College was great, but on the actual votes, imagine there had been no Brexit. We might not have Trump if Muammar Gaddafi had not been killed by Hillary Clinton, and she laughed about it. She laughed when he got killed. They have a video clip of her hearing about it in an interview, and she laughs. And ironically, and I like to think, that is the moment that karma said, I'm going to bite you in the ass over this. I honestly think if that guy had not been killed, we wouldn't have Trump right now.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty.
But, you know, that's another what if.
Oil. She got oil.
Oh, God, yeah, she got oil. At any rate, about 46 minutes in. Anybody have their own topics they want to chat about?
No.
Nothing else? Okay, I don't like to go too long on this because it discourages people from watching. So, if nobody else has any other comments, questions, concerns, or big topics that I've missed on the past week, it's been fun having you guys by.
It was fun being here.
Maybe we...
Hold on, I'll check the news.
Now say that again. Say that again with nobody else talking.
It was fun being here.
I have got to get a clip of that. It was fun being here. I should end all my videos with that. Anyway, if there's no problems with my job tomorrow, I might do this tomorrow night. Otherwise, it'll be next week. Been fun, been real, but I can't say it's been real fun.
I'll be waiting.
You have been listening to the Eldritch God.
Am I also God?